Hi everyone, my name is Ginzi. I'm a yogi here stationed in New York, and this is my friend and colleague Charisse. Today we're going to be guiding you through a Vinyasa flow. It's really rainy and slushy today out here in New York. A lot of people are really upset with that, but I think we should take our perspective to a new place and embody the characteristics of all this rain and water and use it in our practice, right? How can you move like water, like liquid through all these asanas? A major theme of today's practice is going to be challenging yourself, but not taking it too far. Remember, this is an all levels flow. That being said, I'm going to give you options and take it to whatever krama you decide to take it to today. If your body is saying no, please listen to it. Okay? On that note, I think we'll begin. You have some cool playlists right below if you're into hip hop yoga or French yoga, whatever you're into. So check them out and let me know what you think. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'll meet everybody in mountain pose at the top of their mat. All right. And we're breathing. On an inhale, let's rise all the way. Take your hands to the sky. Exhale, let's fold forward. Hang in our first ragdoll. Inhale, let's lift halfway, straightening up the spine. You can place your hands on your shins or on your thighs. Exhale, plant your hands to the ground, step back into a plank position. We're going to build through our first Chaturanga Flow. If this is already too hard for you, I invite you guys to take your knees to the ground. Otherwise, we're in a plank position. I'm going to give you two options for your Chaturanga Dandasana. Your first option is going to be your Chaturanga. Bend your elbows, and then upward facing dog, knees lifted to your downward facing dog, hips back. Or let's come into a plank position. We're going to drop our knees this time, and instead of our up dog, we're going to slide our chest, take our chin to the ground. And then slide through for a cobra. Our knees are still on the ground. Your cobra can be with bent arms or straight arms, whatever you'd like. And then tuck your toes and send your hips back for that down dog. So whatever variation feels more comfortable to you today, just listen to your body and do as it asks. This is our first downward dog of class. So let's start to pedal out our legs. One breath, one movement. Inhale, I bend one leg. Exhale, I straighten that leg out, I bend the other. And your breath, your time. Let's follow your own beat, your own pace. This warm-up is where we start to introduce our breath to our movement to make it more natural. Inhale, I move. Exhale, I move again. When we get that breath established, it actually creates really interesting response in your body because you're able to control so much more. Whether that be your organs and your muscles. That synchronization is really powerful. Anyway, let's come to a downward dog with your legs bent. We're looking back towards our navel. There's a long line from our hands all the way to our tailbone. Exhale, we're going to start to straighten out our legs, taking our heels to the ground below us without sacrificing that long line in our spine. If your spine starts to bend, just come back to that micro bend in your legs. On your next exhale, look towards the top of your mat, bend your knees, look forward, and make your way to the top of the mat. I'll meet you guys in a half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise all the way. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center or by your sides into our Tadasana. Inhale, rise all the way, baby back bend. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to inhale into our half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, and let's go through our Chaturanga Flow. So whatever variation you like better, right? I'm going to do the upward facing dog, and Charisse over there is going to demo the crow to down dog. You can linger in your up dog or cobra, take your chest to the sky, but eventually we'll all meet each other in a downward facing dog. And now we're breathing. How can you smooth out your breath? So let's start at the breath at the bottom of our tummies, right? And build it all the way up to our chest. And on our exhale, let's work it down. Chest to upper abdomen, and then lower abdomen. Great work. It's our 3-part breath. So follow it up your spine and then right back down your spine. One more breath here. On your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and we're going to step to the top of our mat. Rise into a half lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, we're going to rise all the way. Exhale, take our hands to our heart center. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different now, so get ready. It's everybody's favorite pose, right, Charisse? Oh, she knows what's coming. So on your next inhale, sit that booty down, take your hands to the sky, chair pose. Great job. Your hands can be together or apart. Most importantly, you have your core flexed in your breathing. Now take your hands to your heart center, and we're going to twist to the right, hooking our left elbow on our right knee. Most importantly, our knees are in one line. You can follow your chest, follow the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, unravel, come to center, and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale. Sit that booty down, chair pose. Boom, we've been here before. Breathe. You got this. I know you do. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center and twist to the left. Hooking your right elbow on your left knee. Wring it out. So good for our digestive system. We wring out all of those organs. Exhale, come back to your heart center. Exhale, fold. Let's come into a half lift. Plant our hands and step back to go through our Chaturanga Flow. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, you're going to step your right foot through in between your hands. Spin your back heel down and rise into a warrior one. Exhale, you're going to plant your hands to frame your foot. Step your right foot back and go through your Chaturanga Flow. We did it on our right, let's do it on our left. Inhale, take your left foot through in between your hands. Spin your back heel down at a 45-degree angle. Rise, warrior one. Exhale, take your hands down to frame your foot. Step your left foot back. And let's go through our Chaturanga Flow. Awesome work, everyone. Pedal up the legs and breathe. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise halfway, fold, and then rise all the way. Take your hands to your heart center. Great work, everyone. All right, I think we're ready to start flowing. So, on your inhale, take your hands to the sky. Baby back bend. Fold all the way. Half lift. Plant your hands down and step, float, hop back for your Chaturanga Float. If you're hopping back, make sure to hop back into bent elbows and not a plank position. It's very dangerous if you hop back into straight arms, right? Awesome work. Now, you guys, before we start flowing, I want to introduce a pose called Child's Pose. So for your Child's Pose, you can take your knees to the ground. Your knees can be tight together or mat's width distance apart, okay? If you're doing mat's width distance apart, your hands are out in front of you with your forehead to the mat. Palms are down. If you're doing knees together like I am, you take your forehead to the ground, but this time your palms are behind you, hands up towards the sky. This is an important pose, A, because it introduces life to our practice. This is usually where we start. B, this pose is very important because it's a pose of rest that I invite you to come to whenever you're in a tight spot. So that's if you feel like your body's too exhausted, if you feel like you can't do a pose, or if you just want a break, come to this pose. I always invite you. All right, you guys. If your hands aren't at the top of your mat, take them there. We're going to rock into a tabletop first, and then tuck our toes, swing back into a down dog. Now on your inhale, you're going to lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, you're going to step it through in between your hands. Keep your back heel lifted. We're going to rise up into a high lunge. Our back leg is straight. Our back heel is reaching further back, right, to evenly distribute the weight along our body. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center, and we're going to twist to the right, hooking our left elbow over our right knee. We're in our revolved crescent lunge. Maybe you want to fly away here. Maybe you want to bind or half bind. Reaching under, interlacing your hands, and taking your gaze to the ceiling. If you're in your bind, you're going to unravel and take your hands to the sky, back to our high lunge. Lengthen out the back, maybe do a baby back bend. Exhale, take your hands to the ground, step your right foot back, and let's go through our Chaturanga Flow. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're doing so great, you guys. Wow. Now on your next inhale, you're going to take your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, you're going to step your left foot in between your hands. Keep your back heel lifted. Now we're going to rise to a high lunge. Your back leg is straight and your back heel is pushing back. Again, to keep that weight evenly distributed between your 2 feet. Take your hands to your heart center, and now we're going to twist to the left, hooking your right elbow on your left knee. You have the option here to fly away or bind. If you're going for the bind, make sure you revolve your hand so that they interlace under you, and then you're looking up at the sky. If you fall out of it, just come right back into it. Otherwise, let's unwrap and come back to our high lunge. Exhale, take your hands to the ground. Take your left foot back and let's go through that Chaturanga Flow. Oh yeah. That's Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and Adho Mukha Svanasana. Charisse knows what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. I bet you're feeling that fire in your body. How quick can you spread that fire that's building in your tummy to all the parts of your body, right? And then how quickly can you take that fire off the mat and apply it to your everyday practice, your everyday life? Your job, your romance, right? Your friends, your family, all of it. Great work, everyone. Take another breath here. On your inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through in between your hands. Now we're going to rise into our high lunge. Twist over to the right. Come back up. And then, as quietly as possible, make your way into a mountain pose at the top of your mat. Hands come by your sides. Ready to work on some of our balancing postures. So I'm going to face towards you. You guys are welcome to stay in whatever position you'd like. On our next pose, we're going to come into a tree pose. One of everybody's favorites, right? Gorgeous. So, your next inhale, take your right knee into your right armpit. Give it a big hug. Exhale, open up your right foot to the side. Now you're going to place your right foot on the inside of your left thigh, or if that's not accessible, you can totally take it down to your calf. Whatever works. Okay? Otherwise, we're in our tree. If you feel all right here, take your hands to your heart center in an Anjali Mudra. And now, if you want to challenge your balance, grow your branches. Be a tree. Sway in the wind. Look up towards the sky. That's the hardest part. Can you sway? Can you move, but still balance? Right? How can you balance all of life's struggles on your shoulders? Well, you got to practice. So flow with us. Awesome, awesome, awesome work, everybody. So come back to the top of your mats. You're going to unravel. Take your foot down. Great work. We're at the top of our mats. And now we're going to rise all the way up. Baby back bend. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step, float, hop back. And go through your Chaturanga Flow. Great work. We did it on our right side. Let's do it on our left. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, Charisse, I know you're ready. Let's do it. Take your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it through in between your hands. Keep that back heel lifted, rise. High lunge. Your front knee stacks over your front foot. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Twist to the left. Ring it out. And come back to center. If you fall out of any of these poses, just come back into it. We're in a high lunge, right? And as quietly as possible, we're going to make our way to a mountain pose at the top of our mat and come into our tree. Again, I'm going to face you guys. Charisse is going to face towards the front of the mat. We're going to hug our left knee into our left armpit. Give it a big squeeze. And then direct our foot either to our calf or inner right thigh, placing our hands at our heart center. Challenge your balance, grow your branches, sway in the wind. Totally different experience right here on our left side. Whoa, even I'm swaying. It's because all this New York wind and rain, right? Embody its fluid properties and flow like a river. Oh yeah. And on that note, let's unravel. Take your left foot off your thigh, ring it out, shake it out. If you're not at the top of the mat, make it there, make your way there. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. We're going to plant our hands, step, float, hop back, however you want to get there. And let's go through our Chaturanga Flow all together. I'll meet everybody in a downward facing dog. All right. We're going to take this flow one more time, this sequence. We're going to add some stuff, so pay attention, you guys. You're doing great. Inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through in between your hands. Keep that back heel lifted, high lunge. Hands to heart center, and ring it out. Come back to your center. Extend your arms. This time, you're going to take your right hand to point above your right knee. You're pointing about a foot in front of your right foot, and you're picking a spot on the ground that's not moving. We call that a drishti point in our practice. So you're looking at that drishti point. Now you're going to embody its still qualities. You're going to bend your left knee, and you're going to launch off of it into a half moon, placing your right hand at that spot on the ground. If you fall out of it just like I did, come right back into it. That's totally fine. That's the point of our yoga, right? When we're combated with all of this pressure from the outside world, and we feel like we want to give up, we fall out of it. And guess what? We come right back into it because there's no way to compromise. We just got to live it out. Awesome, awesome, awesome work. Now, take your left hand to meet your right on the ground. I invite you guys to stay here in a supported warrior 3, or extend your arms in front of you for your full warrior 3. You can do a variation extending your hands behind you for an airplane, right? Whichever variation speaks to you. Remember to kick through that left heel to keep a parallel edge going. Great job. Now you're going to start to ring it out and come to a stable Tadasana mountain pose at the top of your mat. It was hard, right? All right. Let's make it harder. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're going to come back to that tree pose we were doing, but this time we're going to play around with it. So you're welcome to come right back into your tree pose as Charisse is going to do. Otherwise, hug your knee into your chest. You have the option to grab your big toe with your right peace fingers and extend your leg out in front of you. At this point, you can hinge open to the right, extending your right foot out parallel to the ground. If you want to challenge your balance even more, look to the left. Breathe here. Slowly but surely reverse those steps. Come back to the front. Bend your knee in. Maybe wiggle it out and take it to meet your left foot on the ground. Our last pose for this balance flow is going to be a dancer's pose or a Natarajasana. Okay? So for a Natarajasana, we're at the top of our mat. We're going to kick our right heel into our buttocks. We're going to catch the right foot from the inside so that our thumb is facing towards the ceiling and take our left hand to the sky. Now we're going to start to kick into our right foot to create a bigger space between our heel and our back. We're going to kick so hard that our torso starts to tilt down into this full dancer's pose. And in this hard posture, in this balancing posture, can you take your attention to your breath? You're not stressed about it. We got one more breath here, and slowly but surely start to come out of it. Great work. Take your foot down, shake it out, and whoa, we made it. Oh, that feels good. Oh, that feels real good. All right. Inhale, take your hands to the sky. Baby back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Plant your hands, step, float, hop back. And let's go through our Chaturanga Flow. Exhale, downward facing dog. How quickly can you go from 100 to 0? Amazing work, everyone. I hope you're still there with us. We love you. Oh yeah, and we love our left side, right? Let's do it. Let's lift our left leg to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, shoot the left foot in between the hands. Keep that back heel lifted, rise. High lunge. Hands to heart center twist. Come back. Lift your hands up to that high lunge. And you know that transition we're doing, we're coming into a half moon on our left side. So we're going to take our finger to point about a foot in front of our left foot, pick that non-moving point, really, really embody how still, how beautiful it is in its stillness, and then launch off that right foot, taking your hand down to that point. If you really want to challenge your balance in this half moon, in this Ardha Chandrasana, you can take your gaze up to the sky. For our seasoned yogis, you got this. Otherwise, take your right hand to meet your left on the ground. For the supported warrior 3, kick your back foot higher, 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 and rise into that actual warrior 3 if you're feeling it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then one more breath here. We're going to rise all the way, taking our right foot to our left. Let's wiggle it out. Let's do a little dance. Boom. I'm sure you're bumping to those tracks. Oh yeah. Now we're going to do that tree or extended leg variation. So we're playing with our left foot this time. We're going to take our left knee into our armpit. Grab the big toe with our peace fingers. Extend our foot in front of us. Placing your right hand on your right hip. And then opening up to the left, while taking your gaze to the right and balancing here. Don't forget about the breath, it makes all the difference. Now, take your leg back to center and take it down to the ground. Whew! We got one last pose on this side. You know what's coming. It's our Natarajasana, or dancer's pose. So, on your inhale, you're going to kick your heel, your left heel, into your booty. Then you can reach up and around, or just grab the inside of your left foot with your left hand, with your thumb pointing towards the sky. Take your right hand to the sky. And now we're going to kick, kick, kick into that right foot, into that, left foot, until we start to tilt closer and closer to the ground. Now our bodies are asymmetrical, so this side may feel totally different. Listen to that. Your body is trying to tell you something. As slowly as you can, slow like molasses. Come out of it and do a little dance to celebrate. We like the dancing, right? We like the water, we like the flow. Inhale, take your hands to the sky. Exhale, fold down. Half lift. Plant your hands, step, float, hop. However you want to get back there into your Chaturanga Flow. And downward facing dog. Remember that point of 0 we went to? Oh yeah, I'm talking about it. Halasana, child's pose. Take your knees to the ground. Whichever variation of child's pose you prefer. And breathe. Lengthen out your exhales. Notice that I'll also lengthen out your inhales. And finally, it goes 360 to lengthen out your heartbeat, your heart rate. Slow down entirely. And breathe here. All right. And we're breathing in this child's pose. If your hands aren't at the top of your mat, draw them over. And then rise into a tabletop. Tuck your toes, and we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. I want to thank you guys for making it this far, and you're going to be really happy to hear, because of our water theme today, we're actually going to start to slow things down already. On your inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, you're going to sweep it through for your half pigeon. Your right shin is going to be parallel to the top of your mat, the shorter side of your mat, and your left leg is jutting out behind you, parallel to the wide sides of your mat. Let's set up a more stable base by walking our hands alongside our hips, balancing here, and then starting to fold right over that hip crease. First coming onto your hands. If that's enough, stay here. Maybe today you're going to come to your forearms, or ultimately to your forehead. And we're breathing here. Speaking of rivers, how quickly, with the silence, do all the thoughts flood your mind? How quickly do you start to think about what you have to do after this class? What you got to get done by this week? How many finals you got left over? Well, I'm here to let you know that's absolutely normal. That happens to me, happens to my friend over here, happens to us all. Our job as yogis is to welcome those thoughts, to say, hey, bro, I see you, and then show them the peace fingers. Because you made it here today onto your mat for this hour of practice. This is a sacred space. This is a sacred time. You're using this for yourself. And those thoughts are of no purpose to you right now. So welcome them. Say, hey, I see you, brother. And maybe you'll help me another time, but not now. So peace out. I welcome you guys to stay in this half pigeon, or if you want a little bit of a quad stretch, come onto your hands. Charisse, you're going to stay in that half pigeon. If you're coming into your quad stretch, take your right hand to the center of your mat. Lift your left heel back behind you so that it approaches your booty, your gluteus maximus. You're going to swing your left arm up and around to catch your foot from the inside like we did with that Natarajasana, with that dancer's pose. And now you're going to pull that foot closer and closer towards your booty. A lot of people like to use the adjective juicy here. How juicy does that feel? Boom. Now, if you want to take this another step further, maybe you want to hook your foot inside of your left elbow and then reach up and around to interlace your hands for that full mermaid variation. You're still looking forward. Now, can you unravel from that slowly? If you're not already on your hands, come up onto your hands. We're going to tuck our left foot and send our right foot back behind us. Now we're going to stack our hips on top of one another and make circles with our right knee to introduce some life back into our right leg. I'm sure it's crying by now. If you're making, yeah? Yeah, seriously, if it's asleep, get it out of there. If you're making circles in one direction, make circles in the other direction. And then straighten out your hips, send your right foot back for that three-legged dog, and take it back down to meet your left leg. Great work. We did it on our right, let's do it on our left. So, inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, sweep it through for half pigeon. This pose has a funny name in Sanskrit. What's it called?
Forgot.
Oh, Ekapada Rajakapotasana. Ekapada Rajakapotasana. Say it like 15 times real quick. Anyway, let's stable out our Ekapada Rajakapotasana. Take your hands to either side of your hips to set up a stable base. On your exhale, you're going to fold right over your hips. Your first step is your hands. Maybe you come onto your forearms, maybe ultimately your forehead. Maybe you want to intensify this stretch by inching your back foot even further back. Remember, you're not inching it towards the left or towards the right, straight back. And we're breathing. Our bodies aren't symmetrical, so this side may feel very different from the other side. That's okay. Listen to your body, love your body, and start to study it, learn it. Because it's the one tool we got. One more breath here. If you want to come into your quad stretch, come onto your hands. Take your left hand to the center of your mat. You're going to swing your right heel up towards your booty, and then your right hand up and around to catch your right foot from the inside. Your thumb faces up. We're looking forward, and you're pulling your heel closer and closer to your gluteus maximus. Now, if you want to intensify this stretch, you're absolutely welcome to come into your mermaid. Again, we mentioned that our bodies aren't symmetrical. For example, I can't do mermaid on this side. No way. But that's okay. I challenge myself and I know where to stop. And so should you. As slowly as you can, make your way out of that, coming onto your hands. Tuck your right foot. Shoot your left foot back into a three-legged dog. And start to wiggle out your knee, stacking up your hips on top of each other. Great work. Take your left foot back down to meet your right and come to standing on your knees. Actually sitting on our knees. We're going to come into a Vadrasana. You're sitting on your heels, your knees are out in front of you, and your palms are splayed open, palms face up on your thighs, your eyes are closed, and we're breathing. This guy's crazy, man. He was having us dance and move and balance, and all of a sudden, all we're doing is just sitting here. What's wrong with him? Well, we're embodying water. We fill our container, right? So when we're going down a slide, we're all electric. We're zooming down it. We're flowing. And then all of a sudden, we get this moment of rest. We're poured into a beautiful jar all together. We're all one. One last breath here and come to standing on your knees in the middle of your mat. Your knees are at hips width distance. You're going to take your hands out in front of you so that they're facing the opposite wall. Now you're going to keep the shape in your hands and take your hands to your lower back for our Camel Pose. Now, this pose is absolutely meant for your body's flexibility. So listen to what your body's asking and go for it. You should feel your hips push forward already and your gaze start to come up towards the sky. If you can push yourself even further, maybe your gaze reaches the back wall. If it goes all the way back, maybe you drop your hands behind you to catch your heels and you push up to get your chest closer to the sky, tipping your head back for your full Ustrasana. As slowly as possible, you're going to reverse those actions, first bringing your hands to your lower back, and then sitting back down in your Vadrasana. Amazing work. Close your eyes and breathe. Flutter open your eyes. Swing your booty to one side so that you can round out your legs in front of you. Was an oxymoron. Round out your legs in front of you. Weird. Okay. We're going to come into a seated forward fold. So remember that shape we've made standing up at the top of our mat. We're going to embody it, but while on our butts. This might feel a lot easier or seem a lot easier than it is. Notice my knees are bent, right? Whereas when I was at the top of my mat, maybe they weren't. That's because the most important part of this pose is the straight spine. So press your palms into the ground alongside your hips. Straighten out your spine for your full Dandasana, your staff pose. And then try to straighten out your legs, maybe if you can, with your toes flexed back towards you while keeping that straight spine. Now we're going to take our hands to the sky and we're going to fold forward, reaching for our toes. If you can't reach your toes, that's okay. Bend your knees a little bit more. Maybe you can go even further. You grab for outer edges of your feet. Maybe you can challenge yourself and go even further by interlacing your hands behind your feet and pulling, right, to bring your tummy closer to your thighs. Every inhale, you should rise a little higher, lengthening out your spine. Every exhale, you should sink a little deeper. Inhale, I lengthen. Exhale, I sink. Inhale, I lengthen. Exhale, I fold. Inhale, I lengthen. Exhale, I fold. And I drop it. Drop it like it's hot. Thanks, Snoop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start to roll up as slowly as we can. Our shoulders and our head are the last thing to come up. When your shoulders do get there, give yourself a little shoulder shrug back. Oh, that feels like nice. In one direction, then maybe in the other direction. And now we're going to hug our right knee in. And intersect it over, cross it over onto the opposite side of our left thigh. I invite you guys to stay here if you're already feeling some kind of tension, if you've lost your sit bones on the ground. Otherwise, maybe you want to tuck your left foot in to your right butt cheek. Now, if both your sit bones aren't on the ground, if you're kind of hinging up on one side, take your foot out back in front of you. I'm going to do that. Charisse, stay, if it's good, stay in position, right? So here are your two variations, right? My left leg can be out in front of me with my right foot crossed over, or I can go in my full Ardha Matsyendrasana like Charisse is doing with my left foot to my right butt cheek. Now we're going to take our left hand to the sky, and we're going to twist to the right without using our left hand for now. Now we're going to hook our left elbow onto our right thigh and start to twist back, wringing out our digestive system one more time. We've been here before. Look back behind you. Exhale, start to make your gaze towards the front, and then take a counter stretch towards your left. Taking your forehead to the mat, or however far you want to go, your choice. Come back up. Great. Let's do it on our left side. So we're going to hug our left knee in, and then cross it over our right thigh. Again, you can stay here, or like Charisse is doing, you can take your right foot and swing it to the outside of your left booty cheek, right? Otherwise, we're going to take our right hand to the sky, take our left hand behind us, twist to the left, not using any hands yet, and then hook your right elbow on your left knee, create that support system to twist further, further, further back, and create that spinal twist. Exhale, take your gaze back to the front, and then take a counter stretch on your right side. Awesome work. Come back up, take your booty to the middle of the mat. We have only 2 postures left to go. All right, so the good thing about a YouTube video is you can totally pause it and do whatever you guys want, right? Any other postures that you're into, if you feel like you're missing anything, just pause it right here, no problem, and then come out with the Shavasana with us in the end. Otherwise, if you're still with us, we're going to take our booty closer to the top of the mat. We're going to lie back on our spine, and we're going to come into a shoulder stand. Now remember, for your shoulder stand, you're going to swing your hips up and simultaneously reach your hands for your lower back. Your hips stack above your shoulders, your heels stack above your hips, and your toes above your heels. There's a straight line coming all the way from the sky to the ground and vice versa. Maybe walk your hands lower on your back to send your feet even higher. You can stay here or start to hinge with us into a Halasana or plow pose. It means hinge at your hips and send your feet back behind you so that the toes graze the ground. Interlace your hands in front of you if you want to give your shoulders a little bit of a counter stretch. You can stay in this plow pose or come into Deaf Man's pose by wrapping your knees around your ears and pressing in so that you can't hear a thing. Slowly, as you can, start to reverse those actions, first shooting your feet to the ground and catching your spine, and then slowly taking your lower back down, your hips down, and your legs down to the ground. I'm going to do a little bit of a happy baby. So grab for the outer edges of your feet as your feet press into the sky. Your feet are going to push your hands towards the ceiling, and your hands are going to pull your feet down towards the ground. It's something we've spoken about all of class today, balance, right? How can those 2 forces coexist? Well, we need those 2 forces, right? Because they create that perfect balanced state of well-being, state of comfort, state of happiness, relaxation, all of it. Maybe you want to extend out one leg, then the other. Right? Maybe you want to make some baby noises. Wah, wah. Well, this pose is kind of called happy baby, so it's more of a sad baby. I don't know, what kind of sounds do happy babies make? Huh? They laugh? Oh. All right, well, there we go. We're a couple of happy babies. Boom. Now what you're going to do is we're going to come into a lion's breath, if you'd like. For your lion's breath, you're going to take a deep, deep, deep inhale. Then make a really, really sour face, shutting everything tight, even your mouth. And then you're going to open your mouth as wide as you can, stick your tongue out, and make a sound. Great work, everyone. And then as quietly, as softly as you can, you're going to extend your legs out in front of you for your final pose, your Shavasana. For your Shavasana, your heels are facing one another. Your feet are splayed out in opposite directions. Your palms are reaching up towards the sky. Your shoulders are tucked together behind you. Your neck is long, and you're breathing. What happens when you close your eyes? Do you see beautiful images, pictures? Does that list of responsibilities pop back up? Do you enter into a state of meditation? Our bodies, our minds, they're all unique. So our experience is totally, totally, totally unique to us. That's not to say we all have these five senses. So let's pay attention to our sense of touch right now. We know what it is in our fingers, but how do your feet graze the ground in this Shavasana? How does the weight of your calves carry into the ground? How about your booty? Your hands? Take your focus to your arms, your shoulders. How about that ridiculously heavy head we lug around all day? How does it press into the ground behind you? If you've lost track of your breath, just come back to it. Lengthen out your exhales. Send your breath to all those little face muscles surrounding your eyes, your eyebrows, your mouth, and relax all of them. Give them a little break. And as slowly as you can, start to introduce some life to your body. Wiggle out your toes. Wiggle out your fingers. Swing your head left to right. Whether it's one knee at a time or both together, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze. And swing onto your left side for your fetal position. Remember, we started as a child. We rose, we flew through the sky. We slowed down and we came to our corpse pose. Now, in this fetal position, we are reborn. So push into the ground to come to a seat at the front, at the middle of your mat, whatever is most comfortable. You can come sitting cross-legged or on your heels in that Vadrasana. Most importantly, your eyes are still closed. Take your palms to splay open on your knees. And I want to close this practice by saying a big thank you to you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming to your mat today. I want you to thank yourself because you did a great thing. This sacred hour was transformative. Now you're going to take your hands to your heart center, and we're going to close our practice with an Om Take a deep breath in. And all together. Take your hands to your third eye center. And together we bow in gratitude. Namaste. Come up, slowly flutter open your eyes. And we made it. Whoa. Give me a high five. Boom. Again, you guys, this is my friend and colleague Charisse. My name is Ginzi. Please like, subscribe, leave any comments. I hope you guys had an amazing class because we sure did. And I'm really happy we get to share this practice with you. Namaste. Thank you very much.